Good evening. Happy Sabbath. There's still 2 minutes. I would like to welcome you to National Honor Society Induction Ceremony 2025. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for today, thank you for the Sabbath, and thank you for the rest that you have given us. And as we do this ceremony, I pray that you be with us and help with our excitement. I pray this in Jesus' name, amen.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David Randall, and I have the privilege and the honor of introducing the speaker for tonight. Now, our speaker has always loved learning. She enjoyed school, went to high school at Battle Creek Academy, and then continued to college in Andrews, where she met her husband, and then they got married. She was working towards a degree. She got a bachelor's of science in elementary education. She had started a master's degree in educational administration, and then she had me. And so she became a stay-at-home mom, but the teaching didn't stop there. From all the things that I learned from her before I even got to kindergarten, to all the family vacations we'd go on that were always full of fun facts and tidbits, even as we were driving in the car on those long hours. My mom, Lori Randall, has always been an inspiration to me for what it looks like to be someone who really loves learning and someone who's intelligent and cares a lot about the things that they do. So without further ado, my mom, Lori Randall, is your speaker tonight.
Well, I've never worn a lapel mic before, and I hear it's working, so that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Alex, back there. I appreciate it. Well, it's a blessing to be here above everything else. If you take home nothing tonight, please remember that you're loved and supported. And we parents, it means more to us than anything just to be around you, and that's our favorite place to be. So what I want to share tonight, our family through the years has really come to love national parks. And yes, most recently we went this spring break to National Park. But my experience with national parks started when Brad and I first, early in our marriage. So early in our marriage, Brad and I went on a camping trip to Yosemite, and I tend to be a little bit nervous. And so for this trip, I was certain that we were going to see bear, and I was certain that we were going to see rattlesnake, and everything that could go wrong, I knew was going to happen. And so we went to sleep early in the trip. We were at the base of Half Dome. We needed to get good rest because the next day we were going to climb Half Dome. And I was restless. I was nervous about climbing up, and I was nervous for bear. And I heard this rustling, and I tried to go to sleep, and then I heard this rustling, tried to go to sleep, and then I woke up Brad, and I said, Brad, I just know that there's a bear outside of our tent. And he said, Lori, don't you know the difference between the sound of a bear and the sound of a person? It's a person, go back to sleep. So I said, oh, okay. So I went back to sleep. Well, come to find out, the next morning we'd had a bear get into one of the backpacks and get one of those little sesame honey chews, and I'm still nervous when I go different places too. But if the slide that's on the screen is what you see, you can also see a little David and a little Jeffrey. They're getting their little junior ranger inductions, and it's just been a special thing for us as a family to go to national parks. A recent family vacation is where you see the moose, and we were at Isle Royal a couple of summers ago, and I'm always very nervous that I'm going to see some wildlife that's going to kill me, but we were walking down this path, and right in front of us came that beautiful moose, and there's only one time I don't get nervous, and that's when I could get a really great picture. And so I had my cell phone down like this, and I was snapping pictures of that moose going across the trail. And then the mom in me was thinking, I'm really glad I'm between the moose and my children. And then I turned around, and Brad and the guys had really stepped back and gone away. And I did get the good picture, but it wasn't the most common sense. But It is a family joy for us to be at national parks, and we're going to spend a few minutes tonight looking at how the national parks were created and set apart, why the National Honor Society was created and set apart, and most importantly, why you, dear inductees, were created and set apart. In this photo, this was from spring break, so just about a week and a half ago, David and Jeffrey have their arms raised. And one thing that I love about visiting national parks is because we're reminded of our smallness and God's bigness. When you look at this image, you can hardly find them, but their arms are lifted and they're stretched, and we're just soaking up the bigness of God's creation. This quote by John Muir says, "Everyone needs beauty as well as bread, places to play in and pray in, where nature may heal and give strength to body and soul." Psalm 145, verse 3, "Great is the Lord, and most worthy of praise. His greatness no one can fathom." So just a little bit about the background I learned this week as I was preparing for tonight. National parks, the very first national park established was Yellowstone National Park by Ulysses S. Grant, and that was on March 1, 1872. And this beautiful land, wild land, was set apart to preserve and protect natural landscapes for future generations, for the benefit and enjoyment of the people. And I like that. I like that a lot. What a worthy cause. Places in nature that are set apart to feed our hearts, places where each one of us are able to be reminded of our Creator's bigness. Well, something kind of neat as well for March 1st that I didn't know until this last week. The National Honor Society was actually established on March 1st as well, but 49 years later. And just like the national parks, the National Honor Society was set apart. And it was set apart for these four things, these four standards: scholarship or academics, leadership, service, and character. And inductees, these are the standards that you were weighed against for entry into the National Honor Society tonight. And there's this really neat motto that the National Honor Society has, and it's French, and I had to listen to the little thing on Google multiple times, but it's noblesse oblige, and it translates to nobility obligates. It's an excellent motto on its own, but how much more does this apply to us as Christians? Each one of us, a child of the King. Within your life focus inductees, you've incorporated these key components of scholarship, leadership, service, and character. These are selfless qualities, eternal qualities that preserve and protect future generations. This March, the spring break we just had, we went with the guys and tackled some more national parks. And one of them that we visited was Bryce Canyon, and that's what you see on the slide here. And most of the time when we travel, I'm pretty prepared. We just came off of a weekend where the juniors spent an awful lot of time talking about travel, and wonderful, well done, so many solid points that touched my heart. This is one experience where I was not prepared. You can see that there's snow in Bryce Canyon, and spring break, I usually think warm weather. I don't know why I wasn't aligned with the weather, but for this particular hike, we had warm enough clothes, but our feet weren't prepared. And you can see on that far right that there are switchbacks. They don't look as hazardous as what it felt like personally to be there, but we began walking down those switchbacks, and we would sink like 3 or 4 inches into the muck, and not only was it melting and there was muck, but underneath that muck there was a big layer of ice. And we were slowly making our way down, and all these people are hiking by us. They had metal clamp-ons on their shoes, they had their poles, and they were smiling and enjoying the beauty. And I was struggling a little bit because I wasn't as prepared, and I was stuck in the muck, and I was just more focusing on the situation than the beauty around me. And I learned a lesson from that experience where my mind often goes in situations like that. is that when I'm going through a wilderness experience myself, I'm looking down and I can't look up. And that often, or in that situation particularly, my mind was led to Moses. So wilderness experiences in my own life lead my thoughts to Moses, and that's where we're going to transition briefly now. Moses is my Bible hero. I love that the Bible spends so much time encompassing the span of his life. There are 147 chapters devoted to him, and Mrs. White spends over 20 chapters in Patriarchs and Prophets on the life of Moses. And when I was a little girl, I grew up in Hastings, Michigan. I don't know if you know where that is, but if you've ever visited, the Thornapple River runs through Hastings. And a large chunk of the Thornapple River runs through my parents' property where I grew up. And when I was a little girl, I would go play Miriam down by the river, and I would pretend that I was there watching over baby Moses. And at the end of my bed, I even took some of my mom's macrame ribbon and pretended I was weaving a basket. And I knew that if called upon, I was going to make the best basket boat for baby Moses. And I had a baby brother at that time, but I thankfully never launched him into our little creek, and I know he's grateful for that as well. But Moses has always been a Bible hero of mine, and I think for every mom's heart here, because we see the beginning of his story, we appreciate so much the span of his life. But we're going to look briefly at those 4 National Honor Society standards through a fast-paced glance at the life of Moses. Moses is drawn out of the river and placed back into the care of his mother Jochebed, and we're told that the lessons learned at his mother's side could not be forgotten, and that this education and training would become a shield for him throughout his life. So you guys know that by the age of 12, Moses went out of the care of his mother and then went into the courts of Pharaoh. And he was there trained until he was 40 years old, and he soaked up so much knowledge that Mrs. White tells us that he was without a peer. There was no one equaling his intellect. His intellectual greatness distinguished him above the great men of all ages as a historian, poet, philosopher, general of armies, legislator. He was without equal. We do know that Moses experienced highs and lows, and that he made poor choices in killing the Egyptian taskmaster. And he flees Egypt at God's command, and then he serves as a shepherd for 40 years to realign his heart and set his motives straight. This quote from Patriarchs and Prophets by Mrs. White says, "In the solemn grandeur of the everlasting hills, he beheld the majesty of the Most High. Everywhere the Creator's name was written. Moses became patient, reverent, humble." And as we were told earlier, how there was no one equaling him in intellect, we are now told that after that shepherding experience, there was no one on the face of the earth more humble than Moses. And I love this because what it brought out to me is that it shows that when we're coupled with God, we can experience both high achievement and also the correct humility of heart. Our second component, leadership. So having gained humility and patience, Moses is called to leadership at the burning bush. His brother Aaron joins him in petitioning Pharaoh to free the Israelites. Satan and sorcery are exposed as counterfeits. Moses calmly tells his people that the Lord will take care of them and provide deliverance from the plagues. The Israelites flee Egypt, face insane obstacles, but they rely on an all-powerful God who is much bigger than themselves. Moses raises his rod, and the sea splits open. Patriarchs and Prophets tells us again, the waters stood like a wall upon each side. The light from God's pillar of fire shone upon the foam-capped billows and lighted the road that was cut like a mighty furrow through the waters of the sea. Well, without a clear understanding of the depth or length of service that was required, we go to that third component, service, and Moses travels through the desert. He follows God's pillar of cloud that brought shade during the day and follows the pillar of fire that provided warmth throughout the night. His people grumble and they complain constantly. They experience life-threatening thirst at Mara, intense hunger, and the gift of manna, and terrifying enemy attacks. But despite all of this, Moses leans into God, and he's able to cast his anxiousness and anxiety to the side as he remembers how God has led in the past. Moses is able to serve well because he trusts in someone bigger than himself. Moses embraces the fact that Jesus is his friend and God is his faithful Heavenly Father. And it's because of this that Moses serves his people with a tender, selfless love. We are told in Patriarchs and Prophets again that the path where God leads the way may lie through the desert or the sea, but it is a safe path. So inductees, and I need to find the inductees. Where are all our inductees? Are they behind? No, those are already inducted. Where are they? All over? Okay. I didn't find Jeffrey Randall yet. So inductees, as you live your life of service, lean into God. Never forget that Jesus is right there by your side, loving you and sustaining you. Our fourth component or quality is character. God invited Moses into his presence on Mount Sinai, and he revealed his law of love. A covenant relationship with Israel was established, and God shows his desire to dwell close to his people. In the wilderness tabernacle, we see this exemplified. And it's in that dwelling we learn that God is relational, and he truly enjoys our presence and our companionship. The same way we as parents want nothing more than to be in the presence of our kids. That's how God feels towards each one of us. In this story of Moses, God's forgiveness lingers through the highs and the lows as the Israelites wander, and we see qualities in God's character that give such an awesome example of what we are to model in our own. God is merciful, slow to anger, abundant in kindness, and God's first thoughts are always thoughts of love towards his children. He is faithful and he protects. And as Moses' work as that faithful warrior comes to a close, we see the depth and the quality of God's character and of Moses' character when God says to him, "Well done, my friend, let's go home." And before Moses dies, God gives him a grand video clip experience where Moses is able to view history from the beginning of time to the second coming of Christ. Patriarchs and Prophets, page 477, tells us Moses beheld the disciples of Jesus as they went forth to carry his gospel to the world. And I always like pretending, I always like imagining that Moses maybe saw Lori Randall when he was given that little clip. And I sure hope, and I know that those of you that are being inducted tonight, you're going to live your lives as that faithful disciple of Christ. How many of you went to Gillette this past summer? All right, a lot of you did. How many of you remember these images that you're seeing on the screen? So this was my very, very favorite part. I loved the evening program for so many reasons, but whoever designed this just did such a great job. And you see Miriam letting go of the baby basket in the river, and you see Moses' hand already as a little boy raised and lifted, and that was carried through in the illustrations that they showed. Well, when we were at the National Park, it was Arches this year. When we were at Arches, we were hiking up one of the trails, and as we were coming back down, I had already been exhausted. We'd been hiking for a long time, and we were getting back to the car and almost there. And there was this little 3-year-old boy that just went racing down with his mom and dad. And he was like, Mom, I was made for this. And he had so much excitement and so much joy. And I think about that little raised hand. I think about how when you guys were in kindergarten, even when the teacher asks a question, you just raise your hand. We have adventurers at our home church, and I've got one little boy that no matter what the question, he always raises his hand, and he's ready to participate and to be engaged. I see that quality in Moses' life, and I see that pick-me quality in you inductees, because you've said, I was made for this, meaning you have turned in your assignments, you've studied for exams, and you've scored high marks. You've led VBS programs, and you've gone on mission trips. You've been a friend to someone who was lonely, and you've volunteered in your communities and local churches. And most of all, when a job needed to be done, you didn't slack off. When a job needed to be done, you raised your hand and you said, I was made for this, I can do this, and I can help. And as we come to a close for this, I have one word of encouragement to the parents, because this is often where my mama heart goes as you watch your kids go from toddlers to adults. And this is by Elizabeth Elliot. And there comes a time, many times actually, in the lives of our children where we have to put the basket in the water. We have to let go and trust the plan of the Father. The world is a scary place. It's a place where we fear our children could drown. But we must remember that we have to let go so that God can draw them from the waters for His great purpose. He's called us to be their parents, but they were His first. And in closing, inductees, what a blessing it is to watch you grow, to see you mold your academic careers, your leadership opportunities, and your service goals, and your character formation, all within the framework that matters most. Each one of you is a child of the King, and that nobility obligates. Keep using your talents and your light to show the love of Jesus. And just like Moses, may your path and your inheritance be set apart, not just for today, but for all of eternity.
Thank you, Ms. Randall, for your thoughts for worship and our induction ceremony this evening. At this time, we will proceed with a very important ceremony, the 2025 induction ceremony of the J.G. Lamson chapter of the National Honor Society. Membership in this National Honor Society is both an honor and a responsibility. Students who have been selected have demonstrated the qualities of outstanding leadership, service, character, and scholarship.
The following guidelines are used for selections. A student or candidate eligible for membership must have been in attendance at Great Lakes Adventist Academy for one full semester prior to selection. The candidate must be a member of the sophomore, junior, or senior class and have a cumulative GPA of 3.5 or higher. These students are then evaluated not on the basis of grades alone, but also on the basis for service, leadership, and character. To be selected for membership in the National Honor Society is indeed a great honor.
The name of this chapter is the J.G. Lamson chapter of the National Honor Society of Secondary Schools, which appears on the charter granted by the National Council of the National Honor Society, duly signed by the National Secretary. The reason the name J.G. Lamson was chosen is because he was the first principal of Cedar Lake Academy when it opened in 1898, and he was the first teacher at Induction Academy when it opened in 1904.
Each of these candles before us represents qualities all members of the school of life must develop. The white candle represents the eternal light of the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and wisdom. These, the greatest elements of life, work together to lead to the highest success. Before achievement, all have participated in this wise searching for truth. The membership of the J.G. Lamson chapter of the National Honor Society has been earned by the effective demonstration of the four qualities held in high esteem of the society: scholarship, leadership, character, and service. We will now reveal the qualities used to select the candidates.
Scholarship means a commitment to learning. A student is willing to spend hours in reading and study, knowing the lasting benefits of a cultivated mind. We should continue to learn even when formal education has ended. Knowledge is one great element in life which leads to the highest success, and it can be acquired in only one way: through diligence and effort. Learning furnishes the lamp by which we can read the past and the light which illuminates the future. Candidates have to continually expand their world through the opportunities inherent in scholarship.
The green candle represents service. Service can be expressed in various ways. In the routine of a day's work, opportunity may arise to help others. Willingness to work without monetary compensation or without recognition for the benefit of those in need is a quality we seek in our membership. We are committed to the idea of volunteering our time and abilities to the creation of a better tomorrow.
Leadership should exert a wholesome influence on the school. In taking the initiative in class and school activities, the real leader strives to train and aid others to attain the same objective. The price of leadership is sacrifice, the willingness to yield one's personal interests for the interests of others. No matter what power or resources may exist, they are ineffectual without the guidance of a wise leader. Leadership can also be demonstrated through a quiet yet strong willingness to be a Christian role model, willing to assist and support classmates and faculty alike.
Character is that force within each individual which distinguishes that person from others. It gives each one individuality and personality. It is that without which no one can respect oneself nor hope to obtain the respect of others. It is the force of character which guides on through life and when once developed, grows steadily. Character is achieved and not received. It is the product of constant action, daily striving to make the right choice. The problem of character is the problem of self-control. We must be, in reality, what we wish to appear to others. By demonstrating such qualities as reliability, honesty, and sincerity, we may hope to prove by example that we value character.
Members of the Faculty Council for the J.G. Lamson chapter of the National Honor Society will now give a short profile of each inductee, one at a time. When an inductee's name is read, he or she should come to the front, sign the register, come to the podium to receive a sash and certificate, and take his or her place as a member of Great Lakes Adventist Academy's National Honor Society.
When you're the first one, you want to make sure that everything's kind of set up right? Well, good evening, honored guests, faculty, and students. Tonight, it's my honor to introduce 4 outstanding individuals who exemplify the principles of leadership, service, and character, and academic excellence that defines our National Honor Society. Our first inductee is someone who I met 2 years ago, and from the moment that I got to know him, I was struck by his quiet confidence, his ever-present smile, and his humble nature. It's nearly impossible not to like this young man. And though he was homeschooled before he came to Great Lakes Adventist Academy, Caleb Kress quickly proved that leadership isn't just about holding title, it's about the way that you serve and inspire those around you. For example, at Pathfinder Camporee this last summer in Gillette, Caleb went the extra mile by cleaning up the trash in and around the porta potties, hauling water for multiple clubs, and helping clubs whose campsites were destroyed during the storm. Caleb's a team member on our Academy gymnastics team, which includes numerous witnessing opportunities, and he enjoys sports and hanging out with his friends. This year, Caleb has worked with me in the IT department, and I've been so impressed with his intuitive skills, which I told his parents, which they seemed surprised by. No, I'm just kidding. I said he often anticipates my needs and hands me tools just at the right moment. And surprisingly, he cleans up without even being asked the work areas that he's in. One task that I asked him that if he'd ever done that before and how he knew to do these things. And he just smiled big and said, it just seemed like the right thing to do. Caleb, your dedication, your kindness, and your willingness to serve has not gone unnoticed. And it's my honor to welcome you into the National Honor Society. Pardon me. I first met this next student about 12 or 13 years ago, and it was shortly after our family moved to this area. She was just a toddler then, was only 3 years old, but even at that young age, she stood out. And today, she continues to stand out for reasons beyond her impressive talents. One fun fact, she has only celebrated 4 actual birthdays since she was born, but that's what happens when you're a leap year day baby. Addison Davis is a 3-year junior here at Great Lakes Adventist Academy, and during that time, she has tutored other students in English and biology, and last year she served as president of the local chapter of our AYBL, our Adventist Youth for Better Living Club. She's also been active in Pathfinders and has served on different mission trips, one to Puerto Rico and another to Kenya. Addison's artistic talents shine in many ways. She has contributed her musical gifts to both of our school's choral groups. She plays in our Wind Symphony, and frequently she shares her talents in church and at special events like this very weekend. And while her musical talents are remarkable, her baking skills are just as noteworthy. She has served in Daniel's Kitchen, our local vegetarian restaurant in town, as a head baker for her freshman year and during the last 2 summers, displaying her skills for making people smile through the care that she baked into each bite. And while this is an impressive feat for a young person, she's been studying for many years under the tutelage of her mother, who can wow even the toughest judge with her cake creations. Her leadership and her dedication to serving others and her strong character, combined with her academic excellence, kept wanting to say elegance, but that too, make her a shining example of what the National Honor Society represents. And Addison, it's an honor to welcome you into the J.G. Lamson chapter of the National Honor Society. Our next inductee has a familiar face, though you might, just a second. I'm working on that same thing everybody else is working on, right? Yeah, actually, maybe this would be a good idea. It's supposed to stop coughs, maybe not prevent them, or maybe, we'll see. Thank you. Oh, great, now I get to do with this something in my mouth the whole time. Our next inductee has a familiar face, and though you might recognize him more by his ever-present camera than anything else. He's a 3-year junior who has served as a Guys Club senator, but most often you'll find him quietly documenting life at Great Lakes Adventist Academy and capturing moments that we treasure for years to come. He's worked for several years with the yearbook team and in creating the cherished full-length comedy drama documentary we refer to as GLA Year in Review. Michael Gillum is a true servant at heart. As a junior deacon at his local church, he collects tithes and offerings. He greets and assists during prayer and praise times, helps with his local AV team, and he contributes to the church's annual county fair booth. While at GLA, he has served on mission trips to both Puerto Rico and Cuba, and he's got a great solid voice in our choral music group, and he has even preached a sermon or 2. Michael embodies the dedication, service, and leadership that we define in the National Honor Society. His willingness to serve, whether through his camera lens or music or on mission trips, sets an inspirational example for all of us. And it's my honor to welcome him into the National Honor Society. Deep breath. That's what I've been trying to get for the last couple days. My last introduction is another 3-year junior. This young person has served multiple times as a music section leader, working to bring what they describe as organization and community to their section. And while this student loves to sing, they can just as often be found playing one of the smallest instruments in the wind symphony and one of their largest instruments in our string orchestra. During her high school career, Marin Mullenbeck has served as a substitute RA in the dorm. She's helped with vacation Bible schools, fed the homeless, went on mission trips to Puerto Rico, and in one of the most unusual yet awesome acts of service, once volunteered as an archivist, which is the first I've ever got to see and read. That's cool. Last summer, she worked at Camp Wakanda as a horse barn wrangler, which I don't think she was wrangling the horse barn, but maybe the horses that were at the barn. This year, she has taken on even greater leadership roles by serving as the late-night RA in the girls' dorm and as the vice president of the AYBL club. Next year, I'm looking forward to having her as an assistant for me in the IT department, or assisting me in the IT department. I'm going to love that a lot. Marin pours her heart into everything that she does, tackling every challenge with passion and with dedication. She has a big personality, but an even bigger commitment to her friends and in service to other people. And wherever God leads you, I have no doubt, Marin, that you will be a dynamic force for good wherever you are. So, Marin, it's my honor to welcome you into the National Honor Society.
My turn. So I'm very happy to start my introduction with this special young man. He's the youngest of 3 boys, but that hasn't ruined him. When you first meet him, you'll probably notice his smile and his positive attitude. He's usually happy unless he's stressed out about school or classes, one class in particular. Isaac Bernard exhibits the qualities of National Honor Society in every part of his life. Isaac has a servant's heart and keeps very busy at his church and school. He's been a Pathfinder, a TLT, a junior deacon. He's helped with vacation Bible schools, VBS, prayer meetings, Sabbath school classes, field work projects, and missions. When I looked at his work experience, one of the things that stood out to me the most was that he's not afraid to do the jobs that other people might not like. He's done house demolition, landscaping, and the one that stood out to me was emptying camper sewage at camp meeting. Ugh. That is a servant leader right there. It's been a blessing to have Isaac in our faculty family this year. I often see him on the swing in my front yard with his friend or walking Faculty Drive. He also enjoys sports, music, and being part of the Araconda's gymnastics team. Isaac is a blessing to our school, and it's my privilege to welcome you to the National Honor Society. This next young lady is someone I've known for a very long time. I'm not sure I remember exactly the first time I met her. She was probably toddling around Adelphian Junior Academy or the Grand Blanc Church, where her family has been actively serving for years. I've watched Kendall Hensel grow up, but seeing how much she's grown here at GLA over the last couple of years has been an amazing privilege. Kendall is hardworking, smart, and dependable. She never sits back and watches other people do things. She rolls up her sleeves and she gets things done. Her friends say she loves having fun and she isn't afraid of a challenge. Now, this part's a little controversial. Some people say Kendall likes baking. Other people say maybe not so much. Her brother told me that she makes awesome molasses cookies. And he also told me that you think old people are cute. Is that true? I don't know why, I just love that about you. I'm so honored and privileged to welcome you to the National Honor Society, Kendall. This next young lady epitomizes service with a smile. She's currently the junior class president, so she's been very busy this weekend, but every time I see her, she's got a huge smile on her face and an upbeat attitude. Lavanya Juma has so much service on her application that I couldn't even begin to list it all. But one thing that really touches me is how helpful she is to one of our GLA family and former staff members, Miss Lori. For those of you that don't know Miss Lori, she's faced some personal tragedies over the last few years, but whenever she needs help, Lavanya is always there. So I called Miss Lori because I knew she would have something to say. And I can't look at her. Oh, goodness. I'm sorry. All right, she said, oh, I'm surrounded. Okay, here we go. Come here. She said, Lavanya is one of the most caring, generous, and loving young women that I know. She's respectful and genuine. Oh, I can't look anywhere. When she first started working for me, this is from Lori, I quickly learned that she didn't need to be told what to do. She's a great problem solver. She thinks fast on her feet. She's like, don't. I was getting it. She's a hard worker. She thinks of others before herself, and I know she'll be successful in whatever she pursues. I find her to be a spiritual leader and a great friend to me, from Lori. Lavanya, thank you for being a servant for the Lord, and thank you for all you do for all of us. You're a blessing to us. Oh, the first time I met this young lady, I was giving her family a tour for her older brother. She was probably only about 10 or 11, and she was pretty quiet. But when we went into the gym and we looked at the Arrows equipment, little Gracie Sanford lit up. She asked about the green cloths that were hanging from the ceiling, and when I told her that they were silks for gymnastics, she asked if she could climb them. So with her mother's permission and with mine, up she went, as fast as a little monkey. I could not believe that she had never done it before. I knew immediately that Gracie was going to reach new heights. Gracie has held leadership positions all 3 years that she's been here at GLA, including Girls Club, Sports and Music Coordinator, and Senator. She's an active member of the Araucana's gymnastics team, and you've probably guessed she specializes in silks and has me holding my breath every single time you climb up there. Gracie's friends say she is joyful and dependable and always helps others. She loves music and, of course, gymnastics. She leads by example and exemplifies the characters of the National Honor Society.
It is my privilege to introduce a young lady whose dedication, persistence, and leadership make her a role model on our campus. She's not one to settle for good enough. Whether in the classroom, the dorm, or her extracurricular activities, she consistently pushes herself to meet the highest expectations. As an RA in the dorm, she leads with responsibility and care, ensuring that those around her feel supported. She's also a member of the Arrows gymnastics team. Her leadership extends beyond campus as well. Her role as a TLT and Pathfinder shows her commitment to mentoring and guiding younger members. Music is another one of her talents, and for the past 4 years, she has faithfully played piano for her home church whenever possible. In past years, she has also served as a dorm receptionist and janitor, proving that no task is too small. In the classroom, she's known for her persistence, always asking the right questions to be sure she fully understands each assignment and completes it to the best of her ability. She is respectful, diligent, and determined, a combination that will no doubt serve her well in the future. It is my honor to welcome you, Summer, to the National Honor Society. I also have the pleasure of introducing a young lady whose strong, steady personality and dedication to service make her a natural leader in our community. Her commitment to others has been demonstrated in countless ways, both in and out of the classroom. Last year, she served as the Girls Club pastor, offering guidance and support to her peers with compassion and wisdom. This year, she is an early morning RA, helping students start their day and assisting with homework when needed. Her leadership extends beyond campus as well. She has participated in a mission trip, preached sermons, and volunteered at the dorm front desk whenever the need arose. She also took on janitorial and laundry service duties last year, always completing her work with a sense of responsibility and dedication. In class, she is known for her dedication to learning, always asking clarifying questions to ensure she understands and completes every single assignment well. She works diligently, finishing each task with a commitment to excellence. It is my privilege to welcome you, Salma, to the membership of the National Honor Society. I'm pleased to introduce another student whose quiet dedication and cheerful spirit have made a lasting impact on our campus. She may not always be the loudest voice in the room, but her hard work, respect for others, and steady focus speak volumes about her character. For the past 2.5 years, this young lady has faithfully served our school community, balancing her academics with leadership and service. She currently serves as the Girls' Dorm Club treasurer, a role in which her responsibility and careful attention to details shine. Whether she's participating in intramurals or working as a reader for life skills, she approaches every task with diligence and patience, always willing to help those around her. Those who know her best describe her as hardworking, always on task, and incredibly patient with others. She leads by example, proving that true leadership is often shown through consistent effort and a kind heart, rather than words alone. Welcome, Emily, to the National Honor Society. Some people lead with their words, while others lead with their actions. This young lady falls into the second category. Her quiet, pleasant demeanor is matched by a heart for service and a willingness to help wherever she is needed. She has been an active member of Pathfinders, a leader in VBS at her home church, and a dedicated volunteer at food pantries. Her passion for serving others is especially evident in her work at the Equestrian Center, where she has helped make therapy accessible for individuals with disabilities. In addition to her service, she has a strong background in athletics, having participated in a wide variety of sports, including hockey and figure skating, before coming to GLAW. Here on campus, she continues to demonstrate her dedication through her hard work as a teacher assistant at the elementary school, always proving to be reliable, patient, and hardworking. Her kindness, quiet leadership, and strong work ethic set an example for those around her, showing that true strength is often found in a spirit of service. Alexis, welcome to the National Honor Society.
First time I saw this young lady, she was probably about in 4th or 5th grade, little sawed-off little thing. And their whole school was doing a program up at a church up north. And this little girl was involved in everything. I mean, she was just, I thought she was in 8th or 9th grade with her demeanor. She was just in charge and almost like the teacher. And I thought, well, I'm going to find out who this girl is. She needs to be a GLAW student someday. And my sister-in-law said, you want to hire her someday, and so I kept her in my mind, and I was able to hire her. She is a junior from Cadillac. It's her first year at GLAW. Very conscientious when it comes to especially academics. She's a member of Arrows. She served as a deaconess in her church for the past 3 years. She served as a Pathfinder TLT in her church for the past 3 years. She served on a mission trip to Cuba. She has been involved and on that mission trip building churches, VBS, and health programs. She's done recording on Strong Tower Radio, so listen for her melodic voice. She's helped as a dental assistant for the Amen Health Clinic. I see her helping students with math and chemistry and trying to just get in there and help where she can. She will pursue any task I ask her to do in the office with a smile. She's steady, she's consistent, and she deserves to be on National Honor Society. I'm talking about Melania Brinseu. The next gentleman I'm going to be introducing is a senior. He's all the way from Malo, Washington, on the West Coast. And this is his second year at Great Lakes Adventist Academy. He was a member of our faculty family last year in the Reichert family. He's a member of Arrows. He's serving, I should say, as a senior class vice president this year. He's went on a mission trip his freshman year. He's helped out with My Tribe last year, the youth rally. And by the way, we have another one. Those of you that are youth that are coming up here in a few weeks. He also has helped in his local church with VBS. He's helped lay lawn. He has delivered wood. He worked at Camp Asabo on the waterfront. I don't know how many lives he saved, but probably oodles of lives. He knows CPR. He's worked as a Bible reader both junior and senior year. Very helpful. In fact, just yesterday or the day before when I was asking, I need help for people who would be willing to get there a little early tomorrow morning and pack these suitcases on the buses for the D.C. trip. His hand shot up there. That's Josh. Incredibly talented piano player. In fact, I've been here a few years, and his piano playing is almost unparalleled. It's really been a blessing, and it's really lifted Jesus up. And I know in his life, lifting Jesus up is important. And so I would like to congratulate you and welcome you to the National Honor Society. Josh Maeda. Josh Maeda. The next inductee into the National Honor Society is a young man who's a junior from Allegan, Michigan. I've known him and his family for a number of years. I taught his dad, and his dad works with my son now, but I used to see him as just a little guy, and now he's grown up to 5'6". And I like that because he was one of my illustrations in my Stephen Douglas lecture yesterday. But he has served, this is his third year at GLA. He's a member of the Arrows. He has served as Guys Club Senator his freshman year. He was SA Secretary his sophomore year. He was SA Vice President his junior year, and he chaired the Student Senate. He served as a Pathfinder TLT for 3 years. He's given many worship talks at Cedar Lake Elementary. I'm sure the kids enjoy that. He's helped with Vacation Bible School in various churches the past 3 years. He served on a mission trip to Puerto Rico his freshman year. He served as a junior deacon at his church and a member of the AV team as well the past 3 years. Very sociable young man, very friendly. He's a likable chap, you might say, and he makes people feel happy. There's some people that just make you feel happy, and Jeffrey has a way of doing that. And he's one of my beloved faculty family members as well, Jeffrey Randall. Our next inductee is a senior lady from Green Bay, Wisconsin. And this is her third year at Great Lakes Adventist Academy. She is a member of the Chamber Singers. The gal can flat out sing. And she has served as AYBL secretary this year. She has been part of the Bible Department leadership team the past 3 years. And the Bible Department leadership team does a lot of things to make this school operate spiritually, and we appreciate that. She went on a mission trip her sophomore year to Puerto Rico. She served in the Feeding the Homeless program her freshman and sophomore year. She's preached a sermon at GLA both her sophomore and her senior years. She's worked with VBS and food pantries her freshman year. She has a very contagious smile. She gets along really well with people. She's got lots of friends. She really gets along with a certain junior. And she is actually a distant relative of mine as well, so there's a little kin in all of this. But I'd like to welcome Luna Winkie to the National Honor Society.
This new junior joined us at the beginning of the year from Lansing Adventist School. I first remember meeting Augustine at Student Handshake. I remember remarking to him that he would be working for me in the math department. I also mentioned to him that he came highly recommended. Little did I know how accurate that recommendation was. The words that come to my mind when I think of Augustine are thorough, steady, helpful, considerate, consistent. Augustine has many friends, and I think it would be impossible for him to have any enemies. He's too polite and likable for anyone to have a hard feeling against him. The math office has regular visitors seeking out this gentleman's help in Algebra 2. This year, a group of GLOS students were able to volunteer one of their Sundays to assist in an Amen Clinic. Augustine was excited to be a part of that group. This year, he was also chosen to be a week of prayer speaker. He, like a number of other GLOS students, has volunteered in local church and assisting in Vacation Bible School. Thank you, Augustine, for your showing us Jesus through your interactions with peers and local communities. We're fortunate to have you as a member of our student body. The first words out of mouths of people I've talked with concerning this young person included sweet, kind, quiet, polite, responsible, happy, and a committed Christian. For me, day one of Algebra 2, Sarah stood out in my mind as a person exuding an inner serenity, the kind of aura that draws people to want to get acquainted and be friends. Although Sarah is often described as being quiet, I've discovered that she sometimes is not as quiet as she first appears. Sarah enjoys comfortable friendships, interacts positively and at times exuberantly with peers. She has a history of being involved in service-oriented activities, helping on Pathfinders, giving Bible studies, sharing baskets of flowers and fruit with elderly, singing outreach activities, and vacation Bible schools, to name a few of the ways she has helped make a difference in her school, church, and community. Sarah is not someone who wears her Christianity on the outside. Sarah shows the inner work of the Holy Spirit. Sarah, we thank you for allowing God to bless our school through your caring personality. If there is one word that does not describe this young man, in my estimation, that word would be quiet. This 3-year junior has a bundle of energy from day one here at GLA. Whether it's on the basketball court, in the math classroom, or in the dorm, there is rarely a dull moment when he's around. Micah plays hard and works hard. It does seem that he may bore easily, though, if he's not challenged in his endeavors. He served as a class officer both his freshman and sophomore years here at GLA. He's a sought-after tutor when students are struggling in their classes. He's been a part of the Pathfinder TLT program in his local church. He has spoken for chapel talks, student-led weeks of prayer, and shared his testimony in various churches. Thank you, Micah, for sharing your spark of fun, your passion, and your energy and dedication to help people see a clear picture of Jesus Christ. Great Lakes Adventist Academy has benefited from your gifts and talents. This young lady is a sophomore inductee into the National Honor Society. This is her first year at Great Lakes Adventist Academy. She hails from Holland, Michigan, and has certainly made a positive contribution to our school. This year, she has served as a sophomore class secretary. One of the many things that I appreciate about Gracie is her positive, upbeat attitude. I don't think I've ever seen her having a bad day. She always has a ready smile. She exudes cheerfulness and positivity. She's a hard worker and an excellent student. She has been in Pathfinder TLT program assisting special events and shows a natural leadership quality. She's been involved in community programs and multiple endeavors such as visiting nursing homes and being a part of programs that show appreciation to the community civil servants, as well as assisting her local humane society. Gracie lives life with passion, and her sweet spirit brings sunshine in the lives of those she interacts with. We're thankful that Gracie Slickers has chosen to attend Great Lakes Adventist Academy. We're looking forward to the ways that Gracie will impact our school program for the next 2 years.
Evening. This next young man comes to us from the sunny South and has spent the last 3 school years here at Great Lakes Adventist Academy. I would say that basketball is his passion, and he saw the Warriors team to victory as the captain this year during the Alumni Weekend game when they defeated the alumni. You guessed it, I'm talking about Zachary Bejarano. Zach's cheerful spirit is always up for a good laugh with his friends. He has a welcome smile and a pleasant, positive attitude, which I really appreciate. Zach has been involved in a mission trip to Puerto Rico, a week of prayer at Union Springs Academy, and teaching gymnastics at our GAS program here at GLA. He has also done various activities like helping at his home church and community back in Florida, which soon will not be Florida, right, Zach? Zach has been a member of the Ericanas gymnastic team for the past 3 years, and if you were here this morning for Sabbath school during Junior Prez weekend, you heard him speak for us as part of the Sabbath school service. He brought me to tears as he encouraged us not to get focused on one thing or distracted by something in this life that could cause us to lose heaven. He shared from his heart and that he could not bear to miss heaven. It is with great pleasure that I introduce you to one of the newest members of the J.G. Lamson chapter of the National Honor Society here at Great Lakes Adventist Academy, Mr. Zachary Bejarano. All right, it has been a joy to have this next young man here at GLA. He is a junior from Kalamazoo area. He shares his wonderful music talents on a regular basis. I really could sit and listen to him play the violin and the guitar for hours. And I have already requested that when I'm old and in the nursing home, that he come and visit me and play music. By now, you've guessed that I'm talking about Mr. Gavin Mascara. Gavin has been a spiritual leader among his peers as a class pastor, both his freshman and sophomore years. He has been part of the Ericanas gymnastic team for the past 2 years, where he is a member of the music group. He was involved in our music touring group during his freshman year and has played intramural sports all 3 years. He has been involved in many volunteer opportunities, like helping at VBS for the past 2 summers, feeding the homeless, as well as visiting nursing homes with his church family. He's been involved in Pathfinders and even volunteered at the teen tent during camp meeting for the past 2 summers. Gavin is a loyal friend and has deep love for his family. He has a humble spirit and is always willing to help out here where he can at GLA. GLA is a better place because Gavin is part of our family. And I believe God will use you in a mighty way, Gavin. And I'm excited to witness your future. It is my great pleasure to introduce Mr. Gavin Mascara and welcome you to the National Honor Society. "17 years ago on this very day, March 29, at a small hospital in Holland, Michigan, a small baby boy was born to 2 very happy parents. He was their second child and their firstborn son. Wow, what a day that was, right? Today, we jump forward in time and we celebrate with those parents again on this very day as their firstborn son will be inducted into the National Honor Society on his birthday. I have had the pleasure of getting to know Josiah Garcia as a member of my yearbook staff for the past couple years. I have witnessed his helpful, willing spirit as part of my team of student workers. He's a great photographer. He likes to play a little golf and is a faithful fan of the Detroit Lions. Josiah has been a leader on campus as an active member in Guys Club for the past couple years. He's served his church as a deacon. He's helped with VBS. In the summers, he served his community as an active TLT member, doing things like cutting wood and raking leaves and delivering food baskets to those in need. He's participated in mission trips to Puerto Rico and Cuba, and he's a musician. If you were here this weekend for junior presentation, I'm sure you heard him because he was blessing us often, either on the piano or singing even at church today. He also plays in our wind symphony. So I'm looking forward to see how God will continue to use Josiah in his life here at GLA and beyond. It is with great pleasure that I introduce to you the birthday boy himself, Mr. Josiah Garcia. Welcome to the National Honor Society, Josiah, and happy birthday. All right, we've almost come to the end, but we have one more very important person to introduce. It is my pleasure to introduce to you our very last inductee tonight. She's a member of the sophomore class. She comes from the Ann Arbor area, and I don't know if you know this, but as a sophomore, it is harder to get on National Honor Society. This should indicate to you how exceptional this young lady is. I've witnessed her love for Jesus and how she is a reflection of that love in the way she treats others with acts of kindness and gentle words. I have personally been blessed by her sweet spirit, whether creating imaginative artwork or crafting a compelling worship. We see Jesus in you, Miss Lily Canada. While at GLA, Lily was a freshman class officer. She's been a flame keeper leader this year where she's planned worships every week for the girls in the dorm. She's also led out spiritually as a week of prayer speaker this year. She's contributed musically as part of the music group for the Ericanas team. And Lily is a member of Girls Club as music director, where she plans the worship music for the dorm. She's been involved in a mission trip to Alaska. She's helped with VBS. She even taught an honor at Camporee in Gillette this past summer, right? Lily has a servant's heart, and she blesses the lives of those around her. Tonight, we celebrate not only the accomplishments she has made, but the impact that she continues to make. It is my great honor to welcome Lily into the J.G. Lamson chapter of National Honor Society.
We'll do this. All right. So it is my absolute honor and privilege to welcome all of you into the National Honor Society here at Great Lakes Adventist Academy. This is an amazing group of young people, and we are so thankful to you, their parents and family, for sharing them with us. We don't take it lightly what a big sacrifice it is for you to send your children here to Great Lakes Adventist Academy. And these special young people, we learn more from them than they learn from us, I'm sure. And it is such a blessing and a privilege to work with them. Excuse me, especially this group here. We're so thankful. So parents, great job. Give yourselves a hand. You have raised some really, really awesome kids. At this time, I am going to have all of our National Honor Society members, new and old, stand up. And we are going to do the National Honor Society pledge together. Now, I told the new kids, you don't have to worry about anything. You've been busy. Don't worry. All you have to do is repeat after me, okay? They'll help. They practiced. And it's also on the screen. So we made it as easy as possible. So we're going to go ahead and put our hand on our heart, and you're going to repeat after me. Here we go. I pledge myself to uphold the high purposes of the National Honor Society to which I have been selected. I will be true to the principles for which it stands. I will be loyal to my school. And I will maintain and encourage high standards of scholarship, service, leadership, and character. The last one was the hardest, wasn't it? But you got it. You really, really got it. All right, go ahead and have a seat. Thank you all very much. Give it up for our NHS members. And again, thank you so much for sharing your kids with us. Chloe's going to have our closing prayer. Mrs. Wallace has just a few announcements for us, and then you can stay back and take some pictures.
Please join us in standing as we close in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for all of these amazing individuals up here with me right now. I pray that you will continue to be with them and guide them closer to you. Help them to walk with you and flourish not only academically, but spiritually as well. In your name I pray, amen. You may be seated.
All right, just a quick announcement for the NHS members and your families. The stoles that you're wearing, the blue sash, can be purchased for $28. You can go onto the website